right center. That ball is gone into Monument Park.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the 35th episode of the Monument Park podcast. It's that time of year. It's Christmas in July. Well, actually, it's Christmas in August this year, which really makes no sense. But if you don't really know what I'm talking about, it's trade deadline time. The Yankees have like clear-cut needs. And this is the year where it's like we have the best record in the American League, and we still have glaring needs. So we're going to go into the deadline and we're going to pick up the players that fill those holes. So that's what we're going to do. This is the year where it's like the Yankees are going to put up or shut up. They are going to make the necessary moves to win. Cashman knows this. He wants to win just as much as we do. And something happened tonight that we're going to get to that is a step in the right direction. Luke, how you doing and how you feeling?
I'm good. This is the day we've been talking about since like May 15th.
Yep.
Because right out the gate, we came out just guns blazing. Like we jumped out to a huge lead in the division. Obviously, we were a little like over our head in terms of performance. Some guys cooled off, some guys slumped, some guys got hurt. So we naturally started losing some games. But we all knew from maybe not May, but like into June, it was like, okay, we're just waiting for the trade deadline now. And like you said before, it's the perfect mesh of we have a really good team with also being like pretty terrible in some spots. So it's like, okay, let's just go fill that. And we started that tonight with a guy we've been talking about since rumors began.
Yep.
Just like an easy chalk solution to one of our problems. And there's a couple more. And then there's one obviously huge fish that the rumors came on recently, which I don't know if he's going to even get traded.
Yep.
But I think this was definitely step one, and it was very good to get this out of the way early without losing anybody that'll get. Like, we didn't lose anyone tonight that would have gotten dealt in later trades. So I think it was perfect.
I think with this team, like you said, we have some terrible areas. We don't really have too many unknowns. We pretty much know that Trevino's our guy at catcher, Rizzo's our guy at first base, DJ's pretty much our guy at second base. IKF, I guess you could say, is the only sort of unknown. Donaldson's not good. Stanton and Judge are amazing. And now we have another sure thing. We know what we have to do. I like that. I feel like in the past years, we kind of went in, trusted some guys we shouldn't have necessarily trusted. This year, we have trust in our guys, and we're going to go get guys that we can trust and pull away the other guys. So I don't know if I'm saying it the right way, but I don't really know how else to put it.
We've said it a slightly different way every episode since we've been good. Like, it's the same. Nothing's changed. Like, it's still the same.
Right. And like we have been a little, we have struggled recently, and
sure.
we got smacked by the Astros, and we just got smacked by the Mets. So not a good look against good teams. We did we handled the Red Sox, but that was before the break.
And they're terrible.
The worst. So they've come out a little flat. They went in a little flat. They came out a little flat. So
we're dealing with some stuff.
And we'll talk about it.
Rizzo's cold. Like, there's reasons why what happened. And the team that we sent out for Houston, that doubleheader, and the Mets these past 2 days is definitely not the team that we're going to play with when we have to face those guys again. So, it's exciting.
So, speaking of what Luke was talking about, Giancarlo Stanton didn't play the first few games coming out of the All-Star break. Like, what's going on? He has Achilles tendonitis, so he got put on the 10-day IL. Obviously, it's not something you want to hear. Stanton's been a guy that's been healthy almost the whole season, if not the whole season. And, I'm not opposed to getting him off his legs for a little bit. Maybe it's just something that's kind of bothering him, but they're getting him off his legs so it doesn't bother him anymore. I kind of feel like that's like a lot with what's going on with the Yankees injuries. Um, so getting Stanton off his legs, I don't think it's a
Um,
bad thing, even if
he,
it is just healing up whatever he has going on.
yeah, he's been. I mean, he was terrible for like an extended period of time
Maybe
before.
it's been bugging him. Who knows?
I
Like,
mean, he's banged up. Like
right.
he tried to play through it. I mean, he hit a lot of home runs, didn't hit anything else. So it's like, okay, like you can see where like it started right after he got kind of hurt that first time where he went on the IL.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it didn't surprise me at all with how he's been playing. It irked me that he played in the All-Star game, though. It really did. But what are you gonna
Then
do?
again, he didn't really do much other than standing
No,
there
he didn't
talking to.
hurt it in the All-Star game.
Yeah,
Not at
no.
all. But it's just like the principle. It's like
Right.
annoying.
Luis Severino was put on the injured list after his start in Cincinnati, where he gave up, I believe, back to back to back home runs. I think the
The
last one was
second
to
time.
Stuart Fairchild.
Yeah, the second time in MLB history, the seventh, eighth, and ninth hitters went back to back to back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, typical.
Stewart, Wild, huh?
Luis Severino, a guy that barely pitched last year, came back at the very end. He's a guy that the Yankees will forever be careful with because he's kind of a ticking bomb. Like he could just get hurt at any moment, at any time. So I'm not too sure. I think he had shoulder tightness. So
I said a low grade lat strain.
oh, lat
Low,
strain. I think it was shoulder
low.
tightness to begin with. Then it came out as a lat strain. It's a low grade lat strain. Severino has close, I think, over 100 innings so far this season. So the Yankees are being wary of how many innings he's pitched. They're just being careful with him because Luis Severino, there's no guarantee the Yankees trade for a pitcher at the deadline. I know that's what's going to happen, hopefully, but there's no guarantee. Luis Severino is going to go into the postseason right now as the number 2 starting pitcher. So the Yankees have to do everything in their power to keep him healthy. And if it means putting him on the Phantom IL, sure. It just is what it is. If he is actually hurt with this lat strain,
I think
even
he's
though it's a minor injury, like at least he's not throwing. So yes, he needs to come back with enough time to get right. But I think that's just what's going to happen. And if we don't trade for a big arm, Sevy's going to be hopefully fresh and ready to go when the calendar turns October. So
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I think if we don't trade, like the way I look at it, if we trade for Castillo or Montas, he's kind of not like we're expecting him to. Like, he's actually hurt, and we're expecting him to not really be
yep.
around in the starting role.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't trade for either, I would hope that that means he's gonna be good. So it's really just a matter. Like I think this deadline will kind of dictate where the team's at with Severino because they haven't told us anything and they don't have a reason to because it kills leverage. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's where like
Yeah,
he could very well be like actually really hurt, but with the leverage of Castillo and Montas, like it just makes more sense to not say anything.
yeah.
I think we'll get a lot of our questions answered like indirectly as this deadline plays out.
I think that's a very good point and something I mean, obviously I was thinking Phantom IL, maybe he's not really that hurt. So let's just, just play it safe here, just get him off the
Very
mound for a little
possible.
bit.
It is also possible.
But
It's just
then
there's a lot of
but then what you were saying with the leverage, like that's a very good point. Like if they know that we need someone that's going to slot in right behind Cole, they're just going to, and we're already the Yankees. So they're already going to try to juice the price because that's just how it goes. So it's not really something I'm too concerned about. I'm really not that concerned. I was more concerned originally, but I've had some time to ponder and think about it. So Michael King, bad, really
bad.
bad. He
Not
heard a
good.
he heard a
Really
pop. We did get good news that none of the tendons are banged up, and that if everything goes well, he's gonna be back by spring training. So if you want to look at the positive there, that's just what it is. He was dominant this year to the point where it was just king to Holmes, king to Holmes, king to Holmes, and it worked pretty much every single time. And Michael King was a guy where it's like we didn't really like we saw him pitch out of the bullpen last year, and we saw that when he ramps up his velocity, he's sick.
He's
Um,
disgusting. Yeah, he's really good.
we he struggled in the starting role. I didn't really care much for him last year, and then I saw what he brought out of with a solidified role out of the bullpen this year, and he made the most of it. And he said that he wants to be a starting pitcher in this league. Everyone wants to be a starting pitcher. You're going to get the most money being a starting pitcher, so I don't blame him. But it's just such a big loss because he was, setting it up for Holmes. He was pitching in high leverage moments, and he was giving the Yankees good length when they were in moments when they
Two
when they were
innings.
desperate.
2 innings a lot.
Two innings.
5 outs, 4 outs. It was
Exactly pitching against the good part of the other team's lineups too. Like he was their guy there, and now it's like we got to figure it out.
hearing that his tendons were were fine. Obviously, is great news. But part of me was like, how did this happen?
It's just
Like,
stress on the elbow. I
he
think,
just broke his elbow throwing a
yeah.
like what? It doesn't. That
You know what it might be? Like, this is really the first full year where he's kind of just been throwing, 98, 99, and then snapping breaking balls. There's got to be stress on that elbow because he wasn't that before. He was throwing 95 on the mound in the starting role in the minors, all through the minors. And then, spot starts in the majors comes, to be a relief arm. Obviously, you're going to ramp up your stuff. That's got to be what it is. Maybe it's a fluke. I don't know.
yeah.
It is
No,
it is fluky, but yeah.
it's brutal.
But it
It's
was bound to happen.
yeah.
I'm just glad it happened before the deadline.
Yeah, now we can fix it for
If
sure.
I'm not glad it happened, but if it was going to happen, I'm glad it happened before the deadline
It
because now we
happened
can.
on if it happened on like August 5th, I mean that's something where now Albert Abreu and Clark Schmidt are pitching like huge innings for us, which
Marinaccio.
might,
Yep.
but it's like we can improve as well.
Yeah. So really, what it means is the Yankees go out and get somebody, or they look to their setup man last season, Jonathan Loizaga, and cross their fingers that he turns things around. And I've watched him pitch the last two nights against the Mets. I didn't actually watch him pitch the other night. I listened to it on the radio. And John and Susan were saying he looked good. And then, tonight he looked good again. His velocity's there, the movement's there. It's just command. And I think when he kind of gets his legs under him and there's a lot of time till,
Yeah.
September, October, he's going to be fine. And maybe he won't be as dominant as he was last year, but we'll have built up enough trust to the point where we can confidently say, all right, it's Loizaga to Holmes. Right?
I think we go. I was gonna say I think we go get a guy and also
yeah,
have that ability. Which if both those break right, we're back to like
yeah.
especially
Then it's our bullpen's
then
better than it was because
that's what I
Chad
mean.
Green was the other guy, and if we go out and get the guy that we're going to talk about in a minute, like that's huge.
Yeah, it would be with also an added thing of we're forced to use Clark Schmidt in a relief role, which
Yep.
for long term, obviously we look at him as a starter, but I really think he can be a good 1 inning reliever. Like
Just a long man. I mean, you saw him pitch in that Cubs game at the stadium when he threw triple digits. I thought that was the most insane thing. Like I didn't know he
I
had
think
that
it
in the
was
tank.
101 too.
It's
It was
literally I think it was 101 too.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as Michael King. It really is. It's just like he's a little, raw. Like he hasn't really been cooked yet. So
I mean, say Loizaga does well. and we
Yep.
trade for bulk like a late high leverage guy. We have
Mhm.
Holmes, the high leverage guy, Loizaga, and then the next tier would be like Wandy,
Wandy.
Clark, Abreu. Am I missing anybody?
And
Marinaccio, who's
then it's Lucas
he
Licky and Chapman.
yeah, which that bullpen I'm good.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be why we lost the series. I don't
We
think.
get length, we get
Yeah, no, that's
high leverage moments.
yeah.
We that bullpen's balanced. That's kind of like what the Rays had a couple of years ago, where they had guys that could go long, funky relief, funky release points,
Mhm.
kind of everything. And
No, yeah,
I have a mock trade mocked up later on in the episode that we'll talk about that would kind of add to it would kind of diversify the bullpen a little bit. And I don't know if we have
that
a
was
spot for him, but we probably find one.
yeah. I was
So
just laughing. You were like, "Oh, that's like the Rays last show." It's like it's like us 2 months ago. Like it felt like we had such a better bullpen in
yeah.
April when we came out, and it was
Oh,
like every night.
yeah. And Miguel
But
Castro's coming back from the IL. We
oh
forgot to
yeah,
talk
he's
about
another.
him.
There's some guy, but yeah, no, I mean,
And he's, especially the other game, the other night,
mhm,
we got walked off. Not we didn't get walked off on when the Orioles came back and won, and we pitched Shane Green, who hadn't, really pitched in a
that's
year,
Miggy's spot.
comes in and he got 2 outs, but then gave up a 2-run shot. Like that's the Miguel Castro inning. Like that's the spot. So
Mhm.
it'll be good to get him back. I think it was a phantom IL. It was funny. I think on the last episode, we said someone was going to go on the IL, and then Miguel Castro went on the IL.
Yeah, no,
So,
the guy, the pitcher who's always mic'd up in like that
mhm,
independent league, Robbie Rowe,
yeah,
he explained how the Phantom IL like just gives them. I mean, he said pretty much what we know, how they use it to manipulate like
yeah,
moving people in and out, up and down, like roster movement.
yep,
But it's funny to like hear it that
yeah,
that's actually what happens. And when you see the roster moves and Miguel Castro and Marinaccio, I think Marinaccio may have actually been hurt, but like Miguel
yeah,
Castro just disappears for a month and then just kind of circles back. I just think that stuff's really interesting and fun.
yeah. And I mean, if it works out and they come back just as good, hopefully,
It
because
better be. He was very
Miguel Castro is literally he's a flip of a coin. Like he's either good or bad. So hopefully he comes back and is on the good side. But Chapman, we have no trust in Chapman,
he
and
looked a little better.
he looked a little better the other night, but
Throw
still,
fastball
it's just
every pitch.
yeah. I
Every
mean,
like I don't even care anymore.
it's just
Just
that
throw it
like
every pitch.
I I'm done with him, and
Oh yeah.
I'm done with seeing him try to like he almost blew the game the other night when we had like a 3-run lead. Like he gave up a 3-run home run to like tie the game, or it was like down one, or I don't know, but that
Yeah,
was
that
just
led to the King had to pitch.
yeah,
Makes you
exactly.
think.
So it's
Nah,
just
that
Chapman needs to go, or he needs to just not pitch. I don't know. I really don't know. I just
I
don't want to
was
talk
yeah.
about him anymore.
I was really upset, obviously, when King got hurt, and obviously you
Mm,
can blame Tyone and Chapman, which I both did
yeah.
thoroughly.
Hmm.
But hearing more about the injury, like it kind of sounded like more of a buildup over time than the freak thing that I thought it was. Like with King,
Yeah.
it sounded like you're saying he's humming triple digits and snapping like he wasn't used to it, and it just built up, I guess. But yeah, no, I definitely saw a lot of Chapman hate after that King injury.
I mean, yeah. I mean, how
I
could you
mean,
not?
he's so bad. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I guess we'll just talk about what just happened. Before the episode, we were gonna do the episode right after the Mets game, right after that walk-off loss that just didn't feel like a walk-off loss.
Yeah, I didn't even blink. I was like, all
Yeah.
right.
We were just gonna go from there to the podcast, and then seconds after the game's over, Jack Curry tweets that the Yankees are bringing in former Red Sox outfielder and all-star Andrew Benintendi. He's now a Bronx Bomber. And, like Luke said, we had been talking about this guy till we're blue in the face. There was a little wrinkle in it that he wasn't vaccinated because he couldn't play in Toronto. That's kind of when we found out. And now he said he would get vaccinated or will get vaccinated. So, I mean, Benintendi's it's literally like last year when I was thinking about guys that the Yankees needed, I was thinking left-handed contact hits for average, and they go and trade for Joey Gallo. and I wanted to rip all of my hair out. So what happens? Next year, they still play Gallo. He's the worst Yankee ever. Ever. Statistically ever. Now, I'm not just saying that. Statistically ever. And they go in and bring in Andrew Benintendi, exactly the guy they need. And he's a double away from an 800 OPS. So this is a really
320.
he's hitting 320. He's fifth in the big leagues in average, and he's ninth in the big leagues in on base percentage at 387. It's a really good move, and it opens the door for, well, it doesn't really open the door. It does nothing. Like it does something, but it doesn't have any effect on our prospect haul going to maybe Cincinnati or Washington or whatever. Like, it has no effect on that. And it honestly probably enhances their, chances at it. Maybe not to the other team, but just for their urge to go do it. Like, we just got Benintendi for TJ Sikkema. Was it Charles Champlain? And Beck Way.
Yeah.
Like, 3 guys that were drafted, 2-3 years ago, and
they're not getting put in that trade calculator. I'll just put it that way.
Right. So it's good. It's great. It's flat. Yeah. It's good. It's good.
One point when you were talking about it not affecting the Washington or Cincinnati deals, I almost think in a way, if Washington wants Volpe, like that's their guy, they want Volpe, which I have seen that on Twitter. I mean, you see everything, but it's just worth noting. Or Cincinnati wants Peraza and Waldachuk or whoever, Wisniewski, doesn't matter. If they want our guys, us already getting a guy almost makes it even better, where it's like there's less desperation than there was before. I think the way things have gone so far, we have a lot of weird leverage, like with the Sevy thing. We're kind of putting ourselves in a good spot where we're in the driver's seat. And I know we always talk about our prospects being really good, but like our prospects are really good. Like a lot of these guys like actually project. Like obviously Volpe, obviously Peraza, like everyone, that's the guys people think of. Austin Wells is a dog. Trey Sweeney's like
pretty good,
huge lefty. The two pitchers,
Ken Waldachuk's.
That's what I'm saying. Amazing. These two pitchers are gross. Like, and that's 6 guys. Usually, Jason Dominguez. I didn't even mention him. That's like they're.
You said Trey Sweeney before Jason Dominguez.
No, but I'm trying to get to the guys.
You hate Trey Sweeney.
I don't even like him.
You don't even know his name.
I do.
You just
but you know what? Like the guys, even the second level tier guys for us are so good that these trades are actually.
And Florial's number 29, and he's still only 24, and we'll get to him later.
Crazy. I don't know what they did to his ranking. He must have been a top prospect when he was like 18.
Yeah.
We've been hearing about him. Yeah, he's like a throw-in now. That's funny, man.
We hinted at Juan Soto. We got a lot on that in just a moment. The first trade that Luke and I were going to mock up and put together was the Yankees trading, and these are realistic trades. Like, I didn't just say, oh, we're getting this guy, these are trades where I feel like we've shown interest, and at the same time we need these guys. So it's Luis Castillo coming to the Bronx in exchange for Oswald Peraza, shortstop, number 2 in the system, starting pitcher Hayden Wisniewski, number 7 in the system. Excuse me. Outfielder Everson Pereira, number 10, and Domingo Germán. Now, the reasoning here behind Peraza is he has really good tools. He really does. And I know the Reds do have 2 shortstop prospects in the top 60 prospects in baseball, And you might be like, well, then why would they want Oswald Peraza? Well, one of those two top shortstop prospects is Ellie De La Cruz, and he spent a lot of time at third base. Now Peraza has a great glove. He's one of the best defensive shortstops in the top prospects. So they would favor that at shortstop. So if they move the other guy to second base, then you have an 3 out of 4 infielders. Like, right?
They
So
list everybody as a shortstop, and they're not all
right.
shortstops.
And you can't and there's a rule of a rule of thumb, like you can't have enough shortstops. You
No,
really
because they
can't.
can play everywhere. Like, it's
Right.
perfect.
Exactly. So Oswald's been fantastic over the last 2 months with batting averages surpassing the 300 mark and OPSs of at least 890. He's an OPS just under 1,000 in July. His power's really come on, but like I said, his best traits are his speed and his glove. So his offensive production is instantly heavier. Like, it's heavier than it looks. Like, he might be hitting 260 this year with 15 home runs, and his OPS might be 770. But considering he's fast, he steals bases, and he plays good defense, it all works out. Like just the power in the defense alone, and then the speed. I think the deal has to be centered around Oswald Peraza if you want to bring in Luis Castillo, who's made 14 starts, 2.86 ERA, 90 strikeouts in 85 innings, and a 107 whip. He has number 2 in the rotation stuff. He actually has ace stuff, in my opinion, but you want that. You want a 1A, 1B. You just don't want. It would be cool if it was 1-2, but like 1A, 1B gives you a good chance. And I think Castillo's a necessary move.
It's such a no-brainer
Yeah.
with what he would cost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say we don't get Soto, obviously it's a total pipe dream. Giving up Peraza when you still have Anthony Volpe
Mm-hmm. Yep.
is like, come on. Like,
Yep.
that's our
That
second
makes
guy,
sense.
It really doesn't. I couldn't see a world where we don't we should get one of the two. Like, we really should. I think Castillo makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
It's There's no, like, you've two dogs going to the playoffs. Not even to mention Sevy. We don't know his deal, but
Yeah.
regardless, you have two, and then you improve the lineup, and now it's like you just roll the ball out and see
Right.
what
And
happens.
I don't think they're going to play the A's card again with Frankie Montas. I mean,
No.
Sonnery wasn't terrible in 2017, but he was terrible in 18. He wasn't terrible in his one postseason start.
Yeah.
But I can't. Montas and Oakland and no.
If we get Montas, that means Sevy's done, and we couldn't get Castillo. That's what that means. Because
I
why
gotta
else would you do it?
disagree with the Sevy being done part because I just think that you'd prefer
Not
Montas in a
done,
postseason game than
not
like.
done, but like it's not looking, like
Well, I feel like bringing in Castillo would mean maybe no Severino because then it's
that's
like,
what
all
I'm.
right, we
Yeah, no,
need Castillo, but Montas is kind of like we're just like adding to add. I don't know, and we couldn't get Castillo,
that's what I'm. Yeah, that's
right?
more like we need a
But I mean,
pitcher.
if Sevy's good and Castillo's good, and you got Cole, Castillo, Sevy, like, all right, let's go hit.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what it is.
hit
Like,
the
we haven't
ball.
hit in the playoffs since like ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Like this whole era, we haven't hit in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And this
So
is a guy,
yeah,
Benintendi's a guy where he's can fix that, and now we can go improve other areas.
Hayden Wesneski is a guy that has plus breaking ball. Like the pitches this guy throws, it all moves. And that's typically something you want in a starting pitcher because it's just so hard to time up and figure out. And if it's over, a long period of time, it's good to have. He doesn't have great strikeout numbers this year, 80 strikeouts and 87 and 2/3, but he's got a 3.39 ERA in 18 starts. He's 24 years old. He's our number 7 prospect for a reason. He's got to be in the deal. Getting Castillo, Cincinnati has no pitching. They need pitching. I know they have Lodolo, but Lodolo struggled this year. Bring in Wisniewski. You got a right-handed pitching prospect now. this is a big move. This is a big piece for the Reds. Everson Pereira is another guy where it's like the Reds need outfielders
If
like
he
bad.
talent,
They
like,
just they need, and he's uber talented. I
yeah,
know his numbers aren't fantastic this year, but even with that,
he
he's hitting
projects.
he's hitting 271 with 10 home runs, 44 RBIs, 19 steals. He's a 350 on base, and his OPS is 798. So call it 800. He got called up to Somerset like a week ago. He's played 5 games there, and he's hitting 227 in Somerset. He has a home run, but that's besides the point. He was hitting 274 with an 809 OPS in high A. He has a lot of talent. And last year, he may have put together some of the crazier minor league numbers that I've ever seen, hitting 20 home runs in 49 games. That's crazy.
He's flashed the power, he's flashed the speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's in prospects. You just need guys who have shown that they can do various things. Fast, power, hit. Like I mean,
21 years old.
I'll take that guy and I'll take my chances with him.
And he's, like I
He
said,
should,
21 years
yeah,
old.
young can do it all.
Right.
Just has to
So
put it together.
he's a number 10 guy. And then you're like, all right, well, then just throw in Domingo Germán because he's pitched at the big league level. He won 19 or 18 games a few years ago. And he's now pitching in, I understand, pitching in Cincinnati is really hard. It's like pitching in Colorado, pretty much. But Severino is a free agent in 2025. He's got control. He's making nothing right now. And Severino's kind of got that. He's kind of in that position where he could go pitch somewhere where there's no pressure at all, and he might turn into like a pretty darn good starting pitcher. Like I believe in his stuff. I do. I do think he has stuff. It's just the command. It's just missing over the middle. If he, shores it up a little bit, I think he could do some big things in Cincinnati, even with the ballpark being a bandbox. Germán being in the deal, you're getting an MLB ready. I wouldn't say proven, but he's pitched. He's been solid at the big league level. He's got a 4.6 ERA in his career, 1.2 WHIP, but he struck out 373 guys and 344 in a third. He could work in Cincinnati, and I just think it sweetens up the deal.
It's one of those where if they want him, that'll be the deal. If they don't want him, then
We'll find someone else.
A low, long relief role for us, and
Sure.
probably not do great, but he may, and that would be awesome.
And start games in August when
11 a.m. on Peacock.
Right. I don't know if they're doing away with Peacock already, but
yeah,
everyone hates it.
Just disappeared. So
the next guy, it's David Robertson. And I originally had mocked up Ian Happ and David Robertson in the same trade, and I was going to give him a nice haul because Houston's going to get Ian Happ and play him in center field. So I figured let's go spite the Astros and just give them what they need, or give the Cubs what they need, and just get Ian Happ. Probably because he's really good, and the Astros, we don't want him on the Astros. But David Robertson is now the one guy in the Cubs that we need to target. Not Wilson Contreras, David Robertson. David Robertson, 35 games, a 1.83 ERA, 50 strikeouts, 39 in the third innings. He has 14 saves. He's the ability to close out games. He set up Mariano Rivera for 4 or 5 years. Robertson is a proven big league relief pitcher that's pitched in huge moments. I don't know if you remember, but he pitched pretty darn good in that wild card game in 2017 when we didn't know what was going to happen. Green came in and then Robertson came in and it was all working. David Robertson is pitched in New York. He knows how to deal with the pressure. I don't know what we're going to have to give up. I mean, it's a 1-year rental.
It's not going to be much.
It's not going to be much.
The thing about the trade deadline is it really doesn't matter how good these players are. Well, it does, but it doesn't, because if they're on such a terrible team, and you have to trade them, then you have zero leverage. in the
Mhm.
situation, and you just have to take the highest bidder. It's really how that works.
I am cool giving them Estevan Florial 1 up for David Robertson. I actually want to go see Florial go excel in a starting role on a National League team that I kind of like. So give him
Yeah.
Florial 1 up for Robertson. Maybe you got to give up another low-level prospect, maybe a guy that they like in our system, put them together, do it, send it over. But Florial, I know I just said what I said, but he deserves a role. He's 24 years of age, which I just said earlier. He's torn the cover off the ball in AAA. He's slashing 287 with a 370 on base and a 493 slugging. That's a 863 OPS. He's popped 12 homers and he's stolen 29 bases.
It's another one. You see the power, you see
Right.
the speed. It projects. You just got to put it together.
He does struggle with strikeouts, but he gets on base at an above average clip. He has what it takes to play center field in the big leagues. And as MLB.com grades out his speed at 60, his arm at 65, and his fielding at 60. So that's on an 80 point scale. Like that's a really good, those are really good, especially his arm at 65. I mean, wow. And he may only be the 29th prospect in our organization, but I do think he could do big things in the Chi Town. So let's get that. David Robertson, I'm putting it down right now. He's a lock to be a Yankee. He's a lock. He's a lock.
I've heard some
have
things
to.
that it didn't go well when he left. Like some weird stuff like that behind the scenes, which I don't know how much that matters now. He's like 38
It would
now.
be his third time on the team. Like,
Yeah, it makes too much sense. I've just seen Cashman do the thing where he gets a reliever we've never heard of
yeah,
a lot recently.
I just don't think like we have those guys in
I
our bullpen
want David
already.
Robertson though. I do want him.
This is the year where we need like it's like the Tommy Kahnle year. Like you need sure thing relief pitchers, you know?
Yeah,
Like we need a sure
no,
thing.
I would sign up for it right now.
And then if Loizaga is good, then it's like Robertson, Loizaga, Holmes, it all works out.
If imagine if we said that like a year ago.
What?
Loizaga, Holmes, Robertson.
I would have said David Robertson. Like, is he still
I
in
would
the
have said
league?
Holmes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Last year he is the guy we traded for the Pirates with a 6 ERA.
Yep. Yep. That
You
is who
see,
that is.
you see Patrick Corbin got absolutely lit on fire today.
Another guy we'll talk about later. And it actually eats into what I was going to say about, potentially bringing him in. It ain't going to happen anymore. Hopefully not. So we'll talk about a trade going out the other direction quickly before we talk about something we really do want to talk about.
You got to do your funeral first.
We got to just farewell to Joey Gallo. We got a replacement. Joey can go elsewhere. I wouldn't be surprised if he was. I don't know.
Good.
You're right. Yeah. We mean, swap.
He's actually good this time.
Gallo's gone by tomorrow. 100%.
He's looking at my phone because I keep thinking he's just not going to be on the.
So we got to clear a spot first off, and Gallo is, in my opinion, going to go to San Diego. And I've seen people saying that we're just going to get prospects, but I think you go to San Diego and you ask for Tim Hill. Tim Hill is funky. He's the left-handed Darren O'Day. He throws the ball from the ground. He has a 3.86 ERA this year. It's not about the numbers. It's about the look, and it's about messing with the opposing hitters. And that's what Tim Hill does. So he's got years of control. He's really cheap. So that's probably why the deal won't happen. But I think the Yankees pay the rest of Gallo's contract, which is probably $3-4 million. Get the deal done, or just trade Gallo for a couple prospects that you like, that you're interested in. I'm cool with that too. I really am. But pay the rest of his contract to get more back. Right.
Definitely. So I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like half scrolling through Twitter at times, trying to see if anything else happens while we're on here. So that wouldn't be weird.
Good call.
And they're saying like, there's still a market for Gallo because the New York effect, like see,
that's all it is. That's all it is.
Like there's almost like I don't know if that's all it is because he's like horrible, but it's definitely a huge thing, and it's
huge.
It's so consistently true that it's legitimate for trade value. I think because they're saying like Brewers, Rangers, Phillies, Padres are all
You
interested.
you could go to every single team and be like, Gallo couldn't perform here. Look at this guy, and this guy. Look what he did after leaving our team after struggling here. And then say, all right, well, one team says, oh, I don't believe in it. Another team might say, yeah. So you got to just go to all the teams, see what they're going to offer you, see what they think of Joey. I think if it's not San Diego, it's Minnesota, because when Gallo played in Target Field this year, I think he had his best game of the
Hit
season.
2 home runs.
2 home runs, right.
Yeah.
They might use that as a, like, hey, Gallo's comfortable here. He can hit here. Let's bring him in.
Maybe
Or
the
they could just trade him
Twins.
back to Texas and they could just re-sign him.
That would make me happy.
I don't know if it would make me happy, because I just saw Josh Smith's like hitting leadoff every day for the Rangers, and I believe Ezekiel Duran, who's played in like I think 55 less games than Gallo, has a higher WAR this season.
I mean, that's not even. He has to just stand there, and he has a higher WAR than him. Like
It's like
that.
0.4 to 0.3.
That's what I mean. Like it doesn't even. I. Yeah, we have to wait until those guys pay him before I get upset. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, Gal's gone. That's not even.
Farewell.
See ya.
See ya.
Sucks. What are
See
you?
ya. All right. I heard on the broadcast, it's like trading for Willie Mays. It's like trading for Henry Aaron. It's Juan Soto. I mean, Juan Soto is the best hitter that I've seen in the last, like, he's at the point of his career where he's so polished and so mature at the plate, where I don't know if I can even compare him to anybody that I've ever seen play with my own two eyes in the current year. Like, obviously, I saw Pujols when he was at the Cardinals and like all those years, and
Rangers A-Rod crossed my mind.
Rangers A-Rod crossed your mind, but like we weren't alive for that. So like that's
Yeah.
the steroid era. I'm just talking about since I started watching baseball in 09, this is, I think, the best hitter that I've ever seen. And I don't even see him play every day. So I'm only looking at the
I
numbers.
never see him play. Like,
Never see him. I've seen highlights of him hitting home runs off Hyun-Jin Ryu, Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, all these guys in the 2019 postseason. It makes me want him more and more and more. So, can the Yankees financially bring on Soto? Well, I would like to shout out NYY coverage on Twitter for this information. This came from him. I probably could have done the same math, but he did it for me. So thank you. The Yankees have about $78 million coming off the books in the offseason. I'll list the names: Judge, Chapman, Britton, Gallo, Tyone, Green, Castro, Carpenter, and Marwin. The only guy on that list that I firmly believe the Yankees will pursue is Aaron Judge, who's making $19 million this season. I expect Judge to earn an annual value of $35 million a year.
deal.
I expect Judge to earn that like annual value, 35 a year. If the Yankees were to bring in Juan Soto and offered him the suggested 15-year, $500 million contract that NYY coverage wrote on the tweet, the annual value between the two players would come out to $68 million.
Yep.
Now, I said 78's coming off the books. You're paying Judge a little more. It's 68. Now let's talk about the other guys. Losing Tyone.
We also don't even have to pay Soto for 2 more years after this.
That's right.
So it's like it would something
just
we can continue to manipulate over time. So it's even better.
Right. So, like I said, talk about the other guys. Losing Tyone's fine because he is the fifth starter, and we have quite a few guys worthy of that role. I don't have to list names. If you watch the Yankees, you know. And from what I've learned is that you could build a bullpen without breaking the bank. I mean, I just saw it with Britton and Chapman. I mean, that just proves it in itself. But losing Britton, that's a guy that hasn't been here all year. Green has missed almost the whole year. So you weren't really losing all that much. And then we all know Chapman can be replaced. All those bullpen arms can just be funneled out. Like,
Time does.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe the Yankees bring back Castro and Carpenter, Miguel Castro and Matt Carpenter.
Marwin, maybe.
I
I mean,
I
he
can't
plays every-
imagine that Castro and Carpenter exceeding $10 million in annual value. And say it does. Say it's 10. Then obviously you're investing like you're investing in 4 players against 9 or 10, but those 4 guys are really good. The 2 guys are really important. I feel like it all can be replaced, but you can still put the money in to go get Soto. Now, I don't need to say anything about Joey Gallo. He's gone. But my point here is it is possible to bring in Soto and extend him while also extending Judge. It's just a
And
matter of what the haul looks like going to Washington.
if we got Soto and extended him and Judge, we would loosely, by my mental math, be paying 4 players like $1.5 billion. Like, that's so funny to me. That's so much money. Oh, jeez. No, yeah. I mean, if we can get Soto, it's everybody's gone. Like,
Yeah.
every
See ya.
prospect.
Everyone.
Like that, all those 7 people, we keep like 1.
No.
You don't think we'd keep 1? We'd send the top 7?
Well, I think that if you're going to trade for Soto, you have to keep either Peraza or Sweeney. Now, I think the Yankees are going to trade them all because I think if they go get Soto, I mean, yeah, the lineup's so great, but like you could still get the starting pitcher, like right? Like, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I
You
really
couldn't.
don't know what Washington's going
We'd
to
get
ask for.
Jose Quintana if we got Juan Soto.
Maybe that's just what it is. But the thing is here, like if Washington does in fact want Gleyber Torres, like I said, the sure things earlier, LeMahieu, Judge, Stanton, Rizzo, Trevino, who am I missing?
Glaber
Glaber.
is part
That's
of that.
6.
And then
So
the
that's
outfield, yeah.
so that's 6 guys right there. Say you add Soto.
He's a
Okay.
sure.
If you lose Glaber, you have Benintendi now. So those are 7 sure things guys that you know that can produce offensively. Maybe not Trevino, but those are 7 guys that you know who can produce offensively. Glaber going out, Benintendi coming in, it's still 7. And you have Juan Soto.
Yeah, it would be DJ, Judge, Soto, Stanton, Rizzo, Benintendi.
You can't bat Rizzo and Benintendi back to
No,
back.
yeah. Righty.
Donaldson probably,
Carpenter, no?
but then that's
Carpenter,
another lefty,
Donaldson, platoon.
right?
IKF, Trevino. Who am I missing?
I don't think anyone. You may have missed Benintendi.
Yeah, I did. Okay, yeah. So those not. I mean,
Benintendi, Trevino,
don't.
IKF, whatever.
That's just like just a game. And God forbid Carpenter. Like, if we have a hot match, like that's a whole other debacle that I don't even think we can talk about.
So obviously, it's going to be headlined with Volpe and Dominguez. If they really want another year of Gleyber Torres, I mean, if they go and get Gleyber Torres, they're just going to extend him on the spot, but you can't assume that. So that's just probably what they would do because he's only got a year left. So really, how much value does he have when your team is going to be the worst in baseball for the next 5 years? So, I mean, that's just what that is, right?
There's also I made the Corbin joke earlier.
No, but that's
say Torres was a part of the deal hypothetically, and then Corbin was coming back with us, which is more money. There's a world where we could keep 2 out of those top 7 instead of 1, or even
yeah. No, that's where I was going with that. The messed up thing about Patrick Corbin is it's such a backloaded deal. So you take on so we made 23 this year. So it would probably be around 8 this year coming back. Then you got 24 next year in his age 33 campaign. How about $35 million in 2024? It's $11 more million in annual value than any other year that he's got.
we may get to keep Volpe. Like that's terrible.
No,
Like
but I
what?
mean, then he's a
No,
free agent. It's only
obviously.
two. It's only 2 years.
I see.
The thing is, you
It's
can't trade for Strasburg, which is so many more years, but because he's hurt.
that would be a nightmare. Thank
But
God.
the thing about Corbin is like, yeah, he's coming off his worst start of the year, which is really hard to do because he's been horrible. And he came out, his
Horrendous.
shortest outing was today, and his baseball savant page is horrible. Like the last 3 years has been horrible. 2019 was good. I don't know if Matt Blake could solve this mess, but if he could somehow do it, then it's like, all right, like let's
Yeah.
freaking go. But I just don't think that's the case. But you trade for Corbin to lessen the haul. Now, if you can eat up the money, sure. Maybe the Yankees will trade for Juan Soto and won't extend him. That's also a possibility. That's also a possibility. Like, yet probably wouldn't make a lot of sense,
We
but
wouldn't
like,
extend Judge, I think, instead of Soto. And keep Soto.
bro, yeah, we would keep Soto instead of Judge.
Yeah.
But there's always a possibility that a team like the Dodgers are just going to be like, well, we have Trey Turner, Freddie Freeman, and Mookie Betts and Will Smith. Let's just go add Juan Soto for the next 2 years because we produce prospects like a bakery making bread.
How do they have more after that Scherzer Turner deal?
Dude, it's like 6 in the top 75. It's actually
I don't
ridiculous.
understand how that works though. Like how did
I
that
did the research. Like, it's insane. Like, they lost Ruiz and Josiah Gray, and they just have.
do?
They really didn't give up all that much.
That's so dumb. Does would the Nationals do NL? I guess they would.
It won't be NL East. I
Yeah.
can't see it being NL East. And if
No,
it's the
no shot.
Mets,
I'm just meaning
see ya.
NL. If you have to face Juan Soto ever after trading him, that's crazy.
That's why I'm like, these Mets fans think that they're going to get Juan Soto. Do you think the Nationals are going to outwardly go out of their way to trade Juan Soto to a team where he's going to face him 15 times a year and he's probably going to do it 15 years in a row? I mean, Harper already kills you, right? So what would bringing back what? No.
I think we're in the I think if we really want him, I think we can actually get him.
No,
Like
yeah.
almost up to like I don't
It's up to us. It's up to
there's no
Cashman being
way,
like, yeah.
like maybe depth wise the Dodgers are better, but
Yeah.
if Volpe should be their guy, and I think he like is. So
Mhm.
you have let's dance. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what else to say.
See, if we do get Soto, I'm all of a sudden just concerned about Severino, even though it has no effect on Severino's health. Like, if we do get Soto, then it's literally Cole, like Severino, and like Nestor.
If it's Severino,
If it's Severino, like that's what I'm saying.
it'd be Monty game 3, I think. He's been
Yeah. So Nestor game 2.
no, yeah, I guess.
I mean, if Severino's not there, then it would have to be Nestor game 2. Like, even if it is Jose Quintana, I'd rather have Nestor. No.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So maybe it's like Montas is gonna bring back a haul too. Like, I know
No,
that
yeah, if
some
we get
team's gonna
Soto, we're
bite.
not getting anybody else like actually good other than a reliever because relievers don't cost anything. Wow.
Maybe no one's gonna want to trade with us if we get Soto. That's also a possibility, you know.
Yeah, I mean, bad teams don't care though. Like, especially in the short term.
So my original point was I didn't want to trade Glaber because this whole thing is about replacing Gallo. Obviously, it's replacing Gallo with Juan Soto in this case, which is just insane. But it's the idea of having to replace 2 players with how bad Donaldson has looked. I didn't like that, considering Gleyber Torres is by far statistically our best postseason player. So that just it didn't seem counterproductive, but at the same time, it just felt wrong because trading a guy like Gleyber mid-season would be like messing with the team. Like, you already have Kiner Falefa and Donaldson in their first year as a Yankee, and Rizzo's been there for like a year and a half. So like, Gleyber kind of adds some familiarity to the team, and if you trade him, he's gone, and you're bringing in Soto too. Like, this team hasn't really played with each other, and we've seen that in all of sports mess with the camaraderie, obviously. So that I know you have to do what you got to do to get him, but now we have Benintendi, which adds to this unfamiliarity that I'm talking about. But
if they're good, then
if they're good, right? I did name Donaldson and IKF. Those are the first two guys I named, and those guys have been the worst two players, pretty much.
That's what I mean. Where it's like,
and Trevino, like
you have to be getting significantly better to justify messing up the chemistry like that. And in this case, I think regardless of before Benintendi, I still thought we were, just because it's Juan Soto. But Benintendi even more, because the lineup would just be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's it's just something to dream on.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not much even. Such an interesting time to be a baseball.
I didn't know Willie Mays was going to be available on the trade market.
Yeah, that didn't really cross my mind.
Like, it's just because it's like you don't sign Correa in the offseason because you're putting all your marbles in Volpe, and then Juan Soto is available, and then it's like, peace. Like,
yeah, and you shouldn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
They want him. They get.
Yeah. Did you also see the report that, and now it's been shut down pretty much, but Joel Sherman said that if the Red Sox were selling, the Yankees would be in on Xander Bogaerts. And I was like, first off, the Red Sox would never trade him to the Yankees, regardless of like how good or bad they were, or how bad they were. Like, never. Could you imagine being the Red Sox, like a Red Sox fan, and then Bogaerts is a Yankee? Like, I said that to my dad, and he was like, well, if they give him the right price, like, they're gonna do it. It's a business. But
I completely disagree. It is like you have to.
It's a business, but at the same time, it's like it's you still have a fan base.
Face. It's a business. You have to like be not a joke. So
they do a Marcelo Meyer though. So
Bogaerts won't be a Red Sox next year, but he probably won't be a Yankee either.
He might be.
He may be. He could be.
Or Dansby.
Nah, I think it'll be. I can't see Dansby leaving. I don't know why.
Now there's no loyalty in Atlanta, regardless of who's anyone's agent.
Yeah, as long as it's not that one guy, I think he's probably staying.
Yeah, Excel, I think. So my next topic was that the Yankees would be out on Andrew Benintendi because the rumor came out that the Yankees were serious contenders for him, and also came out that the Yankees wouldn't be trading for him if he was unvaxxed. So I figured, if the Yankees are in on Benintendi, it's just going to shoot up his value because they're just trying to maximize their haul for their rental, and including the Yankees name instantly ups the competition. So that is not the case anymore. And Toronto has been really good. But now that Benintendi said he's going to get vaccinated, or maybe he already is, it doesn't matter because Toronto was sounds like the runner-up to Benintendi, which is ironic because that's the one place you have to be vaccinated. So the podcast kind of took a turn. Like, here we are. So my next topic was going to be Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and if he can be our shortstop on October. Now, it's kind of like one of those topics where it could just be like, yeah, but can the Yankees figure something else out? Like, can they? I don't know.
I think Marwin's going to either defensive replace or just flat out. Like, IKF's looked good at the plate.
Yeah, like, he's on a 14-game hit streak. Yeah.
Like, he looks good at the plate. It's never really been about the plate for me specifically. He just boots some easy balls, and I could see him in the playoffs getting under the lights. I mean, the first opening day, he looked like a puppy. That can't happen again. Game 1 of the ALDS, ALCS, God forbid the World Series, he starts freaking out. That can't happen.
He does have all of August and all of September. So.
No, but it's not the lights. Like, that's what I mean.
I know, but it's just getting familiar with, like, just playing in New York. I don't know.
He's used to New York, but I'm saying we don't have time for a playoff learning curve.
Isaiah Kiner-Falefa might be a lock for 1 for 4 every day Like he's literally, and I know his batting average is 275, which is like
He's
better than 1
zero
for
walks.
4,
He's zero
0
walks.
walks. But at the same time, he gets a hit every day.
Yeah, no, his bat's not the problem. I just can't have him booting easy ground balls.
No,
That's
I mean,
really what it comes down to. If
yeah,
I could see him choking, is really my only concern on the defensive side of the ball.
yeah,
And if he chokes, it's like, okay,
yeah.
win, I guess. Like, I don't know.
So coming up, just to look ahead, the Yankees have it looks like a 6-game homestand against Kansas City, which Andrew Benintendi will just flip clubhouses, and I'll actually be at the game tomorrow, so you should expect some sort of content on Andrew Benintendi in his debut as a Yankee, probably, and then you'll get 3 games against the Red Hot Mariners, August 1st through 3rd. All right, like
Take
that's
2,
fine,
move on, try.
right?
That'll be in the middle of the deadline. Those games, those are going to be
No,
some.
those are 7:05 games.
No, but I'm saying like
Oh, in
August 1st
California.
to 3rd, and just August 1st to 3rd. Like that's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
going down.
Yeah.
Time wise, like everyone's, it's going to be a mess.
Then we go to St. Louis, which we get a Fox game on August 6th against the Cardinals, which I like. I don't know why I like it, but I like it.
World Series preview.
No. And then it's 3 in Seattle, 3 against Boston, and then we're getting a little too far. Then we play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games at home in a row. And Luke and I will be at school. I mean, the summer freaking flew by, ladies and gentlemen. Like, whoa. Luke and I will be in California for the deadline. Not really too sure what to expect, but we will try to get something of some sort out. Maybe it's
We
a
will.
reaction video or something where we just sit down and talk for 60 seconds and post it. That might just be what it is, but then there will be a podcast to follow it when we get back. So really, like that's it. Like it's really just like grab your popcorn and just sit and relax and just wait for Juan Soto.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
I'm not going to be able to sleep on this plane. I already know.
No.
Almost hope they don't have a TV, so I'm forced to just go to bed.
I'm gonna be
If
locked.
trade
in.
deadline, like you can't even tell me to sleep.
No.
This is
What are we gonna do that day? I think we're going to the Giants game that night.
yeah, we may. I don't know. That's going to be a
We're
hard
going to the Giants game.
because they're so bad.
I don't care.
I
We're going to
do.
the Giants game.
That's a hard sell for me, man.
Dude, you were the one who was saying we gotta go to San Francisco. What are we gonna be doing? It's gonna be one of those trips where it's like, yeah, but do we have anything better to do?
If we don't, then okay, we'll go.
We won't. Come on. Dude. There's like 3 days in there where we could just go. Like, there's not gonna be something 3 days in a row. No way. No. Dude, it's Dodgers Giants we're going. Jay Nubs is gonna be all in for it.
Yeah, he's free.
Shout out Jay Nubs, who was trying to convince us to spend like $100 because if you spend 50, you could spend 100 because that's just hits logic.
Economics, man. Economics.
Yeah, I mean now we're talking about Jay Nubs. We should probably end the episode, right?
Listen,
I mean,
we should clip this out.
yeah, I mean, no, I mean we
Okay.
gotta add. I feel like the Bonnie and Bark podcast is loosen up a little bit. We could talk about our lives. So here we are. But no more life talk.
Yeah,
The episode's over. Thank you guys for listening and watching. We are going to go back to our Twitter accounts and lock in because
refresh for the
Juan
next.
Soto could be a Yankee any moment.
All right, that's just that. I know he really can.
He really can. What number is he going to wear? 22? Yeah. Who's wearing 22? Someone's wearing 22, right? It was Clemens' number.
I'm the wrong guy to ask. Cano wore it at first.
McCutcheon would have worn it too. I don't know. Who's wearing 22? I don't know, but I guess Juan Soto's wearing 2-2, and that's it. Yeah. Links in the description. See you guys soon, right? Peace.
Yeah, no, we will do something for the trade deadline.
Yep.
It may be like 15 minutes, but 10 minutes. We'll do something.
Thank you guys.
Yep. Peace.
Peace.